Welcome back to Live Drawing with Octopolis. I'm Brian Miller, and today we are going to have a ton of fun sketching and painting some JEM and the Holograms characters. So this is going to be a big drawing. It will take multiple streams, but we will get started on it today. Good to see everybody who's showing up so far. It looks like we've got Quinch Press. Good to see you, Quinch Press. And Paltry Ceiling 3. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us today. Be sure to follow if you're not already. We are also multi-streaming onto YouTube and Facebook. I will do my best to keep up with the chat everywhere, but I do get the chat stream live on Twitch, so I will probably be most responsive there. But I do appreciate everyone who's watching on all three of those social media networks. So great to see everybody. So JEM and the Holograms, one of my favorite characters and shows, and this is a commission, so it will end up being all four characters eventually, but today we'll just get started with Shana from the show, and then it'll end up being JEM and Kimber and then Aja. So it'll take a couple of streams to do this one. It's going to be full color, so it will be a fun time. But I want to hear from you about your experiences with JEM, if you are a fan or not a fan, if you like the animation or the toys. Did you hate the film as much as everyone else? Let me know your take on the character and what sort of relationship you have with that. In the meantime, I'm going to get started on this and just choose which areas I want to put some black line on before we start painting. But really good to see everybody. It's been a hectic week. I had to miss my normal Tuesday stream due to a business meeting. An actual weird live in-person business meeting. I mean, that's been so long since I've had to do one of those. So that was kind of crazy, but hopefully it will lead to good things. So that was unfortunate, though, that I had to miss my Tuesday stream. So I'm glad to be here on Thursday hanging out with you guys. Very excited to get going on this commission. Should be a lot of fun. Quinch Press says, I never got into the show, so I don't have any strong opinions. Well, you know, I mean, my history goes back to G.I. Joe. And I really, really loved G.I. Joe, the toys and the cartoon. And one of the things that Hasbro was smart about when they went to create JEM and the Holograms was to have G.I. Joe, one of the writers from G.I. Joe, Christy Marks, just set her up as like the main creator. So, you know, she created the entire story Bible for JEM and the Holograms. And if you don't know Christy Marks, really, really great writer. She's written tons of cartoons and lots of comic books. So cartoons including things like Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, G.I. Joe, Fantastic Four, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Bucky O'Hare, I mean, all kinds of stuff. And her background is really like science fiction and comics. And I think that's one of the reasons she did such a good job with G.I. Joe, is she understood that sort of like storytelling and how to engage people. And so when it came time for JEM, she was able to take sort of her knowledge and, you know, kind of incorporate all of that into it and make it an action-packed show with some science fiction elements. And I remember Hasbro, you know, one of their big things back then was that they had done a study, and in households where there were boys and girls, the boy tended to be the one that would, you know, hog the remote control or be in charge of the channels or whatever you want to call it. And they knew they had all the boys watching G.I. Joe, and they wanted to make sure that when JEM came out, they wouldn't switch channels because it was going to come on right after G.I. Joe. And so they got Christy Marks involved, and she already knew how to write stories that boys liked for sure. So it was just natural to have her be the main creator of the show. And she did a great job with that. I mean, everyone I knew, you know, was either into like G.I. Joe or He-Man or both. And I think pretty much everybody who was into G.I. Joe would stay tuned in and watch JEM. So it was a big hit. And I think that I read that the JEM toys, now I never had any, but I know lots of girls that were friends of mine that did. The JEM toys were outselling Barbie like something crazy, 5 to 1, 10 to 1, something like that back when this came out. So it was a big like worldwide phenomenon, and I think the characters have really stuck with people, and just made a big impression. So it's kind of interesting that all these years later, I think I read that 2021 is going to be the 35th anniversary of JEM and the Holograms. And so even while the popularity has, waxed and waned over the years, there's still a big fan base out there, and still doing things like wanting commissions and, comic books. And even though Hasbro doesn't make the toys anymore, there's, been some other toy makers who have licensed them and come out with like super collectible figures that go for hundreds of dollars online. So it seems to be an enduring property. Hey, Kevin, thank you for joining us. Thanks so much for the cheer. I appreciate it. Kevin cheered 10 bits. Thank you. And if you're not following, please follow. Thanks for joining us today for part 1 of this JEM and the Holograms artwork. So just doing the sketch right now, and then I'll grab some paints and we'll start painting in some color and adding some detail and everything. This is Shana. She's one of the members of the Holograms, and so I'm going to work left to right on this illustration. So it'll be Shana, and then Jim, and then Kimber, and then Aja. So today will be Shana. Appreciate everybody hanging out. But yeah, I was into it. I liked the show, and then years later I got to work with Christy Marks on Amethyst at DC Comics. So that was really a treat to get to work with her professionally. And she came out here to Phoenix Comic-Con one year, and I think we just spent hours talking about Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends and JEM and the Holograms and some of the other cartoons and stuff that she'd worked on and written for it. She was full of great stories, and we forget that lots of writers worked on JEM. Marv Wolfman, who was a famous comic writer, he wrote some episodes of JEM, and so did Paul Dini. And if you know anything about Paul Dini, you know how much he likes Zatanna, and that he was instrumental on Batman the Animated Series. And if you go watch the episode of JEM, well, I don't think you can right now, but the episode of JEM that he worked on, the characters are all in outfits that look like Zatanna, so that's kind of funny too. So lots of little like inside jokes to comics and sci-fi and animation and stuff like that in the show, which is kind of nice. So I was really excited when I was asked to do this commission, because I think it's characters that I like, but also that I haven't got to really do too much with in the past. So should be a fun one. I'm gonna just probably lightly put in some pencil lines and hopefully let the paint do most of the work here, and then once may have to like let the paint dry and then go back and do some extra stuff to it, just tighten it up and everything. So we'll see how it goes, but should be a fun one. Should be a real fun one. But let me know what kind of what kind of cartoons do you have nostalgia for? What's like if someone was commissioning a special piece of artwork to give you as a gift, what kind of like cartoon or toy or something from your childhood would be like, oh, that'd be so cool to have that as like a special piece of artwork for your house or your game room or your toy collection room or whatever it is, right? So let me know what that would be for you, because I think it's different for everybody. I mean, I do so many of the Star Wars commissions that obviously that's a big one for a lot of people. But it's nice to get some variety and see some other things that people are into. Makes it fun for sure. Hopefully you're doing well and kind of surviving during this pandemic time. You know, it's been so crazy. I hope you're hanging in there and having a good week. And if not, hopefully just hanging out with me for an hour or so and enjoying the artwork will chill you out and help your week be better too. Because we're nothing if not full of like chill vibes and positive energy and stuff here. All right, so I think I'm gonna start with her hair and then maybe like her jacket and work forward from there. I've got some like background elements I want to do as well, but I may put those in last. So she's got this like blue and purple hair, so that should look pretty cool. And these are gouache paints. Everyone always asks what I'm using. So I think the last stream I was using acrylics. Today I'm using gouache, so you can see. Let me get it in front of the camera there. Focus. There you go. So those are the gouache paints I'm using today. And we'll lay down a little bit of blue and then make some purple. It should make some nice colors. So she's got this really curly wig. So what I'll probably do is just work out like a basic like blue and purple mix there and then go back and add some of the detail and stuff. So I try to work from the general to the specific when I can. I find that for me at least tends to work best. Keeps me out of trouble, I guess, that way. Maybe just a touch of this red. There we go. So for the first levels of color, I tend to do, pretty light washes and just kind of like let it build up just a little bit at a time. And that'll usually give us some nice results. So this first level will be really, really pale. And this will just be like the foundation for her hair color. I'm going to leave it white over on this edge so I can work in some like pink highlights and stuff over there. And then we can start to just mix a little bit darker value there. A little bit less blue and more purple than that, I think. There we go. Yeah, let's see how that's gonna work. Yeah. And so we can just start to just kind of wisp in a little bit of these colors and just work it in. So the idea will be to build this up, and then I can go back in and add the little details and highlights and shadows for her curls. But if we can just get a nice base color to start with, it should look pretty good. And I was always into like theater and cinema and stuff like that, and so really always paid a lot of attention to like the costumes and the wigs and the hair and stuff. So I always have a really, really good time drawing and painting characters with interesting costumes and hairstyles and makeup and everything. So this is kind of right up my alley, I think. Hopefully it will be. We'll see about that. Just a little bit of that purple in there. Let that do its thing, and then we'll layer up a little bit more in there. Hey Bex, good to see you. Thanks for joining us today. It's a truly outrageous sketch day with JEM and the Holograms. This is Shana. She's one of the members of the Holograms. She plays bass, sometimes plays drums. She left the band for a while to be a fashion designer. And then she came back. Whole backstory, you know how it goes. Beck says, happy to see that you're on. I've had a lot going on and I've had to miss a bunch. That's all right, I've had to miss some too, which has not been fun. So very good to see you. Beck says, like, respect for fashion designer. Hey Bex, did you ever see the Jim and the Holograms movie that came out a few years ago. We should talk about that nonsense for sure. So I'm just going to layer in some more like pink kind of values, and then I'll let that dry, and then I think we'll be able to go in and really start adding the curls and the details. But I just wanted to build up a couple of different like colors so that we get, the idea is that when it's done, we see some blues and we see some pinks, and we get like not just a monochrome, but like a little bit of variation in there. And that's what'll make it look a little bit more vibrant than if it was just one solid color. Beck says, no, I didn't think I saw anything about it. Well, I heard, first of all, the movie was a complete flop. Interesting, though, it was directed by John Chu. And so, if you don't know the director, I think he was originally most famous for he directed a couple of the like Justin Bieber behind the scenes movies. I didn't see those, but then he did some of those like step up dance films. And then he got to do like a G.I. Joe film, and oh my gosh, he's done some other like really big action films and stuff. Some that you would know and like. But he got this Jim and the Holograms gig, and I finally broke down and watched the movie because it's on Netflix. And so it was only in the theaters for 2 weeks. That's how bad it did. After 2 weekends, Hasbro pulled the film from theaters. It was, for all intents and purposes, a complete disaster, like a complete flop. But I broke down and watched it. And I would say that, first and foremost, if it wasn't called Jim and the Holograms, if it was called something else and it was just about a girl who became a musician, it probably would have done okay at the box office. It's not a bad movie. It's well made and all that, and it has good actors in it. But what it's not is it's not really anything to do with Jim and the Holograms. And so I think that was their fatal mistake. So it's tough. Like, I understand why people don't like it, because it's definitely, if you're a Jim fan, it's not that. But it's actually a well-made movie, so it's kind of a catch-22. And it is on Netflix right now. But like, Juliette Lewis is the big bad, and she's a great actor, but she was kind of really bad in this. She was very flat and didn't give a great performance. And so I think that really, really hurt it a lot, because I think they needed a better, stronger villain. And I also think the movie maybe took itself a little too seriously, because, if you think about other movies that in this genre, something like Josie and the Pussycats would be a good example. Josie and the Pussycats was like aware that it's a cheesy premise, and the villains were really sort of over the top, and it made fun of the commercialism and all that kind of stuff. And I think that made Josie and the Pussycats work, because it was like self-aware and okay with making fun of itself a little bit, and it just made the film better. Whereas this, I think, just took itself way too seriously. Beck says, I like the Step Up films, and oh man, only 2 weeks. Yikes, yeah. So I would say, like, it is worth watching, and if you don't know anything about Jim and the Holograms, you might like it, because it's not a bad film. It's just not a good Jim film. So I know that sounds like I'm damning it with faint praise, but it's how I feel. But the other thing I noticed was that, without giving, I guess nobody cares about spoilers on this film or not, but the thing that made the cartoon so good was that Jim wasn't always the most successful. They had to have battles of the bands, and there was the Misfits and other sort of villain bands that they had to fight against and stuff. And so it had like this action element, and there were real threats and real consequences, more so in the cartoon than in the movie. And so I think one of the problems with the movie is that there's no like stakes for their success or failure, and because of that, it's like, why would you care, right? So it's just like, oh, she's a phenomenon and everyone loves her, and that's kind of it. Whereas, and at the very, very end of the movie, they introduce the villains as if they're like setting up for a a sequel or something, and I think that was a mistake. They should have had the villains in the movie and had to have like the battle of the bands and the big the big drama, and that would have made the movie a lot better. So I'm sure they were like, oh, we'll wait and we'll do that in the second one because this thing's gonna be a huge hit, and then it wasn't. So they should have probably just done it in the first one, especially because Kesha played made a cameo as the lead singer for the Misfits, which could have been really cool if they'd actually explored that in the film instead of had it just be in like the post-credit sequence, So I think that was a big missed opportunity. I mean, obviously hindsight's 2020 and all that, but it just seemed like a movie without stakes and without any threat to the characters, and the villain was very one-dimensional and didn't really deliver on any kind of like zany villainness. So that really hurt it, I think. Bex is like, that's super cool. Thank you, Bex. So anyway, I would say, if you haven't seen it, especially if you don't know anything about JEM, give it a watch. Just it's actually an entertaining film. And if you are a JEM fan, maybe give it a watch just to hate on it or something. I don't know. But while it's free and on Netflix, I mean, might as well just check it out. And I looked, and I don't think the episodes, the cartoon, I don't think it's available anywhere right now. It used to be on lots of stream platforms, but it looks like they've pulled it. So I don't even know if it's available to like purchase or anything right now. But 3 seasons, I think it's like maybe like 60 episodes or 55 episodes or something like that. It's a significant number of episodes, so definitely worth checking out. And the music, I mean, obviously it's 80s. It's supposed to be, very much in like the Madonna time period. And so there was 2 people who were the voice of JEM, and so one did the speaking voice and the other one did the singing voice. And so both of them make cameos in the film. So that was kind of entertaining as like, a backstage person or a hair and makeup person. So that was kind of cool. And then Christy Marks, the creator of JEM, she makes a cameo in the film as like a reporter for Rolling Stone who wants to do an article on JEM and the Holograms. So that was really nice that they included everybody in that. So, at least they paid a little bit of like homage there. Bex is like, I will put it on my watch list. Yeah, you should. I mean, it's a fun watch. It's not bad. Quinch says, I think the cartoons are available on Tubi. Tubi has a ton of 70s and 80s cartoon. It's a free service. Oh, I've heard of Tubi, but I didn't know it was free. And I didn't know they had animation. So I will definitely look for that. And I don't know how well those cartoons hold up. I mean, you have to remember, it was a daily cartoon like G.I. Joe, and it was not made to super high animation standards, But I also think that JEM and the Holograms has a lot of like manga and anime influence that was not common in the U.S. yet at that time, especially for a show that was aimed at boys and girls. So if you are someone who likes manga and anime, it might be fun to watch the cartoons just to see some of the tropes that may seem familiar now, when it was maybe like the first time that American audiences were seeing some of those ideas, especially with these like strong female characters, and the male characters are all, like the sidekicks and stuff. So kind of makes for like interesting thought process there about how things were and how they are now. Bex says, hi, Quinch Press. Yeah, it's nice to have the gang back together. Now we just need Monique and some other people to show up, right? But I know it's a weird time. I normally on Thursdays I stream at 1 my time, but I had to go deal with the CPA and taxes and stuff, so I knew it was going to be a later stream. But it's not, at least it's not like super late nighttime stream either, so hopefully that'll be good for somebody. All right. I'm not in any rush on this, so if you get bored watching me, that's on you, because I'm going to take my time and you know, try to do a nice job on this. And then I think what will happen is once all the painting is done, I'll probably go back in with some like, you know, color pencil or something and go in, or maybe my like gel pen and go back and add a few highlights and stuff in. So just so we can keep it all looking nice, you know. Just trying to work some more of these blue values in, kind of alternate between the blues and the purples so that her hair gets some like definition and has some color to it. Because I think that's kind of called for here. Quinch says they have G.I. Joe, they have a bunch of 70s, 80s superhero shows like The New Adventures of Batman. Oh, cool. That's weird. I'd heard of it. I had no idea. I had no idea they had all that. So, yeah, that's the kind of stuff, especially like at lunchtime, I like to just watch like something I can watch just 10 minutes of real quick and walk away and come back to. So usually that's like some documentary or something. But yeah, animation, when I was watching all of those Konosubas, I was doing the same thing at lunch. And so it'd be nice to pick something up like that to watch. Maybe just a little bit of this like blue in here, just to give her a little bit more form. There we go. I think that's starting to look pretty cool. Because she's truly outrageous. Hey, Ash. Thanks for joining us. Ash says, Brian, did you ever get a copy of the Vader Officer boot patch? Oh, yes, I did. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think I did. It's been so long ago, but yes, I think I did. Oh, thank you, Angela. But yeah, I think I did. I'm working on, or getting ready to work on some new patch designs right now. So, but yeah, I know I saw pictures of it. I'm just trying to remember if I got the actual patch or not, but I think I did. Like everything since COVID is just like, like, did I do that? Did that really happen? Were there ever really Comic-Cons, or was that all just a dream? You know what I'm saying? Like, everything is just like, what? All right, so I think I'm going to do her jacket next. And it's supposed to be silver. Now, I don't know if I can pull off a silver or not, but I can certainly mix up some sort of like a cool gray. Ash says, yeah, it's been a while. The past year has been a bit of a train wreck, right? Yeah, I mean, everything just kind of like blurs together, and then some of that stuff are just like, did we ever really do that? Was that really a thing? I don't know. All right, let's get a little bit of this blue in here. I'm just gonna take some blue and some black, and then I'll probably water it down and just make a cool gray value. Don't really want to add a bunch of white to it though. I don't want to make it too opaque. So I'm just gonna hit it with some water. See what kind of. Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, that'll work. That'll be fine. Could use just a touch more blue, I think, but it's really close. Yeah, that should give us some nice looks. All right. Well, I talked about JEM for a long time because that's what I'm drawing. But let me know what you're watching right now. Let me know what's caught your eye. I've been watching this documentary series on Netflix about samurai. It's all about like in the 1500s. Oh, Rick T. Sam on Facebook says, sounds like it would have been a $1 hit. That's pretty funny. Thank you, Rick. And Rick says to break out the airbrush. Yeah, I had thought about that, Rick. I would break out an airbrush for JEM and the Holograms, except for I gave my last airbrush away to another artist to help her start her art business. So, and I saw that she's doing like official stuff for Sideshow starting this week. So that's all working out for her. But yes, I think airbrush would be totally appropriate for JEM and the Holograms. And thanks for watching, Rick. The comments on the Facebook feed seem to be coming up a little slower for me. So if I don't answer you immediately, I will when I see it. But the Twitch feed is like instantaneous, so I'm maybe a little bit more responsive there. But thanks for joining today. I'm so glad to finally be multi-streaming and that they turned that on for my channel. It's been kind of fun. I'm still getting used though to try to keep up with all the comments coming from like 3 different places. So Facebook and YouTube and Twitch. So it's fun. It's definitely fun. And I appreciate everybody who is watching. So we'll see if I can do anything that is resembles metallic shine here or not. But if not, it'll look like she's got a nice gray jacket on. So that'll work. That'll work fine. But it's been a while since I've really done anything like this. So it makes it for a fun challenge. It gives me a chance to kind of work on some of those old skills, you know. And especially what you guys probably can't see is that the overhead lights that I need to light up the art for the camera means that when I'm painting, kind of all I see is the glare of the water in the paint. So I'm like having to like switch my head to the side to like see the details. Kind of funny. All right, so let's darken this area a little bit. And just try to get some like little implied or faux detail, whatever we want to call it in here. You know, whenever I'm teaching art classes, that's one of the things I'm always trying to kind of tell everybody. Like, it's not necessarily about creating a bunch of actual detail. It's more like implied detail. You're implying like the folds in the fabric and, you know, or the curls in the hair or whatever it is. So that's always what I'm trying to do, really, is just kind of hint at things and hopefully make it kind of feel a little more natural and stuff, you know. So that's the goal anyway. But I want to hear more about what you're into right now, because you know I get behind on all those shows and stuff, and so I need to know what's hot. I heard the Billie Holiday thing on Hulu is really good. I haven't seen that yet, but I've heard really good things. And what did we watch? We watched something the other night that was good. The new Christy actually liked the Tom and Jerry movie quite a bit. I know a lot of people have been hating on that, but I think it had enough of like the old gags and stuff in it for her that she decided she liked it quite a bit. But I saw some other people didn't like it at all. Bex is really into WandaVision. So Christy and I haven't finished it yet. Christy had a really hard time getting into the first few episodes. So I think we're only on like episode 4, but I know it really starts picking up steam around then. So now that we finished the final season of Sabrina, I think I'll be able to get her to go and finish Wanda next. So hopefully, you know, everyone kept telling us that like it really gets better, so hopefully that will be the case, because I know she did not really get into the first few episodes. But I know everyone's kind of talking about it now, so I know there's lots of secrets and things that happen that I need to catch up on before I stumble across them all just online, you know, which happens. All right, I think that's off to an all right start. That's going to work. I might need to blend a few little details in there, but get the folds in the jacket and everything going. Cartoon Rick says, "Oh, I see. Rick jumped onto Twitch. Thank you, Rick. That Pacific Rim Black was a surprise. 7 episodes. Yeah, I saw that pop up, and I hadn't heard anything about it ahead of time. Was it really good? It looked like it might be good." And Beck says, "Oh, I watched Raya and the Last Dragon. Is that? I didn't know that was actually out yet, Bex. I thought it was like pay-per-view still or something. That's cool. I want to check that one out for sure. I definitely want to see that. That one looks right up my alley. So that's definitely on my watch list for sure. Let's see if we can get just a little bit more darker detail into some of this without it kind of bleeding too much. Quinch says HBO Max added Blade Runner 2049. I hadn't seen it yet, so I watched it. Oh yeah, man, I love that one. I saw it was on there, but I didn't know that they had just added it. Yeah, I saw that, I think, opening night. You know, back when we could still go to the theater. And I'm a fan. I'm a fan of that. I don't know, Cartoon Rick, how do you feel about Blade Runner, the new one? Are you a lover or a hater on that? Bex is like, oh, is the Pacific Rim any good? Quinch says, I'm on episode 4 is a pretty big change from the first 3. It becomes a very different show. And Bex says the art was amazing. Okay. Cartoon says, Raya blew my mind. I swear they cheated on the water. It looked too real. Oh. Well, it could have been like digital, right? Like digital animated water. Or just some like really good artistry. I mean, you never know, right? You see some of the older like anime stuff and the water and the clouds in the sky and stuff sometimes they do is so good. I can't tell you the project I'm working on at DC right now, but I can say that it's related to a popular anime, and or maybe it's like a crossover. I guess I can say that. And I was surprised how many people that I work with weren't really familiar with like that visual style, and I had to like send them like so much like reference material and stuff to be like, you know, look, this is not just your normal superhero comic. It has to match this like established visual style. And I'm sending like pictures of like skies and forest from different, you know, anime shows and stuff. And I'm like, haven't you seen all this stuff before? Am I the only one? So I was kind of shocked, really. You know, you when you work in pop culture, you just sort of like assume everybody knows everything you know, and then when you kind of realize that they don't, you're like, oh, okay, now we've got to like get everybody like schooled up on this. So it's kind of funny like that. So this will be like the first pass on her jacket, and then I'll probably come back with a lighter version and add in some more detail. But just trying to get like all those like folds and shines and stuff. Quinch says, speaking of Sabrina, Michelle Gomez from Sabrina and Doctor Who was just cast in Doom Patrol as Madame Rogue. Oh, now I'm going to have to watch it because she's one of my favorite actors. She can really do no wrong. What else is she in? She's in something else besides Sabrina and Doctor Who. Can't think of it. She was just in another show. And she was good in that too, but I can't think of what it was. Rick says, I loved it, but it was hard. But it's hard for me to watch it again. Oh, we're talking about Blade Runner, yeah. Bex is like, dude, I'm so excited. Quinch says, I don't think Blade Runner 2049 needs to be 3 hours. They could have trimmed 30 minutes out, but I still really enjoyed it. Yeah, I mean, visually, it was just so stunning. And the story was okay. I mean, I think most people guessed what was supposed to be like the twist in the plot pretty early on in the film, but that's okay. I mean, I guess for everyone who thought it was telegraphed, there was someone else who was like, what? So, you know, whatever works in that case, I guess. But yeah, the length is an issue. I mean, it was a really well-made film. But, you know, you don't just sit down and watch it casually because you're like, oh, wait, I need to dedicate a lot of time to this. Rick, you'll have to let us know what kind of artwork and stuff you're working on right now, if you can or if you care to. Always interested. I've been working this week on just some concept sketches and stuff for this big Smithsonian project. So I need to get those concepts kind of finished up so they can take a look at all of that. But I don't want to rush it. I want to take my time and make sure that it's all really well thought through and all that, you know. Cartoon Rick says, looking forward to Loki more than Falcon and Bucky Playtime Hour. Yeah, I mean, both the trailers look good, but I think Loki would be kind of more my speed as well. You know, I would agree with that assessment. I'm glad to see that Disney Plus is doing well. I mean, you know, you think about how much of their other businesses are hurting, and you know, this is one area that's being a big success for them, so that's good. Obviously, it'd be nice to see them have, you know, more successes elsewhere, so they could bring more of their staff back to being full-time employed. But at least it's not all bad news, you know. At least there's something going good, which is nice to see. Oh, hey, Evan. There's Evan. Thanks for the resubscription. 10 months. Can you believe it? Way to go, Evan. Good job. Cartoon Rick says, I don't know how to feel about the Justice League redo. Yeah. I'm with you on that. Cartoon says, we talk about Blade Runner 2049. Justice League is going to be 4 hours. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. You guys let me know. If you saw the trailer for the Snyder Cut, what did you think? Are you excited about it, or do you don't care, or will you just watch it out of curiosity? You know, like what's your take? What's your feeling on it? It seems like, you know, certain people are like really hot and really excited about it. Other people maybe not. So I'm interested to hear kind of what people are feeling about it. I know, you know, for me, I've said it on here before. I mean, just the main problem I have is the way that Batman is characterized with like all the guns and stuff. It just doesn't really fit with the version of Batman that I grew up with. So that part is definitely a little unfortunate. You know, beyond that, I don't know. I mean, I want to be open-minded, but you know, I think it seems like DC has struggled with their films versus maybe Marvel's as far as like public perception. But then on the other hand, DC's have made a lot of money, so there's nothing like motivating them to change that formula because it's been fiscally successful for them. So it's definitely some things to think about there. Quinch Press says Michelle Gomez was also in Flight Attendant. Yes, right, man, and she was good in that too. Like, I think she could have had even a bigger role in that. I mean, what she did was fine, but she's always been one of my favorites, and I thought she did a really nice job on that. And it was smart of you know, Kaylee and whoever her crack team is of people who were doing the casting to bring her in for that, because I thought she was absolutely fantastic in that part. And you know, she's so good at like chewing up the scenery and being a good villain that she's like the kind of, you know, you like find yourself rooting for the villain a little bit just because she's so dynamic. And I think that's, you know, it takes a really good actor to do that, to make you like, you know, want to root for the villain a little bit. So and even in Sabrina, right, like she managed to kind of pull some of that off there too, where, you know, she's the bad guy, but she's also a victim, but she's also totally evil. And you know, she keeps it really ambiguous so that you can't like pigeonhole her into just like one thing, which is kind of cool. I mean, I think that's got to be a challenge for an actor, you know, given on however the material is written and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty cool that she can do all that. Oh, thanks for the cheer. Evan cheered 5 bits. Thank you, Evan. Quitch says, I've been avoiding the trailer and don't have much interest in the Snyder Cut. I'll probably break down and watch it just because I have HBO Max. Yeah, I figure like the day it comes out, a ton of people will watch it just because, right? Or just out of curiosity. I saw that someone on YouTube had done a breakdown of how much footage in the trailer is new footage. And I think that that's sort of one of the things when we say like they call it the Snyder Cut, you know, is that really a misnomer? Because like how much of this is more of like a special edition or a reimagining, you know, versus like you know, what he might have done back then. So that's kind of an interesting thing to think about too, you know. And I'm sure that, you know, Warner Brothers, they've just got to have so much writing on this because, you know, the fans demanded it and all that kind of stuff. But it needs to, you know, as much money as they've spent on this, I'm sure it needs to be a success for them. So we shall see what happens with that. Because obviously that will determine, you know, everything else. Because it's gotta be a success, and I don't know if it has to get critical acclaim or not. Probably not. It just needs to, you know, get the fans excited and make its money through like more subscriptions, I guess. Evan redeemed to hydrate. Quinch says, I'm going to wait till I'm bored and can't find anything else to watch. Evan says, I love the day streams. Oh, thanks, Evan. I'm happy I got to sneak one in today. That's for sure. And I appreciate everybody joining me because I know it was unannounced, but this is going to be 4 different characters, so this will take several streams. So that'll be, you can, you know, plan on seeing a little bit more of me because this will be it's a pretty big commission. I mean, 4 characters, full color, 11 by 17. I've designed a little kind of like 80s background to go behind each one of these girls, so it's going to be pretty cool, I think. So it sounds like the Snyder Cut, everyone's kind of on the same page, which is just like everyone's kind of like wait and see, like is it going to be anything? Is it going to be good? I don't know. I was interested to see that some of the people that are involved with it on the back end and stuff. So we'll see how that all plays out too. But for now, I guess it'll be something that we can look forward to talking about if we all decide we love it or hate it or whatever, right? All right, so I think that'll be the first pass on her jacket. I'll let all of that dry, and then I'll probably just go back and lay in a little bit of a lighter version of that. Just add some water to that value and thin it out a little bit, and then we can just go back and wash in some lighter details. And now this is the gouache paint, so it will reactivate. So, you know, I can do blending and stuff on it whenever I decide to. So that's not that big of a deal. Let's see. I think she's got this like little like crop top on. Probably maybe do that first and then the skin, or maybe do the skin first. I don't know. I can't decide. Let's just do a light wash on her skin, and we can like let that start to dry and stuff and go from there. I think that'll make sense. So let's just do A little bit of that. A little bit of that. Might take a minute to get this. Just kind of going for like a caramel kind of value. Don't want to get anything too dark. Just a nice base. A little bit more red. That's close. A little orange still. You can't see me testing it out there. All right, so let's just put a little bit of this blue-gray in there. And there we go. Again, just trying to go for like a caramel brown. Still a little red. Cartoon Rick's like, where's the airbrush? Oh, there we go. That's gonna look nice right there. That's the one. All right, so maybe just a touch of water in there. Thin it out just a bit. Now this gouache paint is nice because you can lay it on like watered down like watercolor, or you can also, you know, make it thick and opaque, and so it kind of lends itself to being worked kind of any way you want it. You just have to be aware that it reactivates. So unlike the acrylics that will dry and then you can just paint over them with impunity, you know, these, even once they're dry, you can still blend into them and stuff. So it's got pros and cons. Hey, Catherine, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for the resubscribe. 5 months. Look at you. Way to go. Well, if you choose to turn on your icon, you can add a hat to your Octopolis icon with your subscription. Just so you know, there's like a little gear wheel where the chat is, and you can go in there and modify your settings and everything. And I know some people don't care, but it's there if you want it. It does come with your subscription. Catherine says, I can't believe I missed you going live and with JEM. Hey, no worries. It was unannounced. And this is going to be all 4 characters. So I'm just going to work on one today, and we'll have at least 3 more streams to finish this up. It might take even more than 3 streams to finish it up. So, but we're going to have Shana, and then JEM, and then Kimber, and then Aja. So, and they'll each have their own backgrounds and stuff. So it's going to be a fun one. Just kind of getting into it, laying down the first wash of some of the colors and stuff. So it's going to be a fun time. Cartoon Rick says, you asked earlier, I really haven't had much time to sit down and create, which is sad. My job says I'm essential because people got to rent trucks. I have ideas though. Well, that's good. Good to have ideas. And I see Catherine got her Octopolis icon there with the, looks like the bowler hat. So good on you. And Streamlabs will upgrade that hat every once in a while. It's not monthly. It's some weird. I think it's like month 3, month 6. I know month 12 for sure, but I'm not sure how often. But I should know. I designed them all back a year ago, but I don't remember how many different icons I had to make. You just make them and give them to them, and then they are in the system, you know. Oh, Quinch just redeemed posture check. Thank you, Quinch. I really needed that. Quinch Press says, I just confirmed that JEM is on Tubi. Oh, good, good. Excellent. I couldn't find it today on any services. So that's good to know. So, again, the movie is on Netflix, and I would love it for some of you guys to watch that just so we can talk about it. Whether we want to talk good or bad. But it's good to know that the cartoon is available on Tubi. And I didn't know that Tubi was free either, so that's exciting. I'll check that out, because definitely didn't want to pay for yet another streaming service. Especially because, like, I think Christie's like tennis channel streaming service probably costs more than HBO Max and Disney Plus and all those combined. I think the way those sports things are priced is like, I guess it tells you how popular sports are, that they can just charge whatever they want, it seems like, right? It's just like, people will pay whatever we want for sports. And meanwhile, I'm just like, is the sports ball on again? Because I don't know what that is. Like, I don't know what's happening. All right, so I'm just doing a light wash for like the base of her skin tone. I think that might be our main goal today, and get like a lot of the just like first pass stuff worked out, and then we'll see. What are we about an hour in? So we've got about another hour to do some more with this. Evan says, I still can't figure out how to change my icon. Can you help me? Quench Press. So in the chat window, right underneath the little part where you type it in, there should be like a little gear icon, and you should be able to change it there. But yes, Quench might also be able to help you. So here I'm just trying to pull the color value across her face, trying to keep it even. Now that's easier said than done sometimes, but that's what I'm trying to do. And again, I have to be a little careful around the edges where the hair is already painted, just simply because that I could reactivate that hair paint, and you know, it could start to bleed the purple into her skin color and everything. So just try to work it a little bit here. Keep it flowing. And I'll just dab the brush a little bit so that I can fade it out up here. There we go. Yeah, maybe Quench will be able to help you with that. I don't know if I'm sure he's listening, so. All right, so just roughing in just the first just wash for her skin. And we can go back and start putting some detail in there. It always looks weird when there's no contrast. Evan's like, yeah, I don't see it in there. Let me look on my end. I don't know, is it under chat appearance? I'm not sure where it is under there. But yes, I'm sure that Quench Press or someone else can help you there. There you go. Quench has sent the link for how you can do it. Oh, you have to hide your founder's badge because you're one of the first there. Okay. What do we want to do next? Let's go ahead and see if that jacket's dried enough that we can do the lighter value of the gray on there. Hopefully. Make sure we get it really light. Maybe even a little bit lighter. There we go. So yes, hopefully you two can get those details worked out there. All right, so I'm just going to add in just a lighter wash of some of this gray in a few places. Just make sure it's going to be light enough. This black pigment that's in here is so strong that sometimes it can be a bit of a challenge to get it light without adding white, but I don't really want to make it opaque if I don't have to. So we'll see what we can do there. Yeah, I think that's going to work. Quench Press says, I have no idea why that setting is under security. Yeah, that does seem strange, doesn't it? I would not have thought to look under security either. I would have never found it because I'd been like, well, certainly it's not under security. Why would it be? And then someone would be like, did you check security? And I'd be like, no, that's ridiculous. Why would I? And they're like, because it's under security. I was like, that can't be true. That's impossible. And then, boy, wouldn't I be embarrassed because it was there all along. All right, so just some lighter values so that some of these folds and things start to make a little bit more sense. And then we can come in, if we need to add some contrast to tighten it all up, we can do that. Just got to keep working it until it, looks the way you want it to look and makes you happy. I mean, that's kind of the thing with a lot of art, right? Like, you get to a point, you don't know if you should stop or not, and sometimes you keep pushing through and you wish you hadn't, and other times you keep pushing through, and that's when you have that really big like breakthrough and you're like, oh yeah, man, that turned out so cool. I'm so glad I did that. So you just have to kind of work through things and see how they fall into place. Or not, right? Or not, because sometimes that's what happens. Sometimes you get the door slammed in your face. And it's like, not today, Brian. Not today. All right, that's looking pretty cool. I'm not mad about that. All right. Yeah, I think the jacket's starting to come together. Quinch says, not only is security not an obvious place, it's weird that you have to hide your founder's badge to be able to see your subscriber badge. Yeah, that is weird. And Evan's got it, and he's got his hat. Very nicely done. Yeah, it is really strange. What do they say? If it was easy, everybody would do it. Right? Okay, hair's coming together, the jacket's coming together. I think that's not dry yet. I guess we'll start to put some value into the guitar then. Or maybe this little top part on her. Just have to keep coming back and forth between different areas while paint dries in one, work on the other, and then come back. But that's okay. It keeps us on our toes. All right, let's do just a touch of red. If it gets a little bit of purple in it, we won't be mad. Yeah, that'll work. There we go. This brush really sucks it up. So you have to like really get the brush kind of dried out to get everything to be kind of like even and flat before you can do all the details and whatnot. All right, so then while we've got this out, let's mix up like a pretty solid version of this. Let's go really red, just a touch of the blue. Evan says, I had to refresh as well. Oh, well, there you go. Yeah. It's kind of weird how many things don't work until you refresh. Like we can have a feed and a chat and a text, but then there's some other something that seems minor that doesn't work until you refresh, and you're like, really? You're like, that's a thing? Why is that a thing? So her guitar is like this raspberry kind of color with like a lighter pink trim, so you might as well just start to flood in the main color first. Evan says, wow, that only took me a year, so thank you, Quinch. Yeah, I'm not sure I would have figured that one out either, so I would have had to look it up for sure. It would not have been obvious to me at all. There we go. So I guess one of the nice things about this gouache paint is it forces you to work in all the areas and then come back, you know? So it's, I guess, a way to get things done. Catherine says, is this a commission? Yes, yes, it is a commission. Evan wants to know if I've watched Stargirl. No, I really haven't watched much of anything. Like I said, I've been watching like this samurai documentary on Netflix, like 10 minutes at a time. That's really it. I've been just working and working and working, which I'm not mad about. That's fine. So, comics has been pretty steady right now, so that's been good. And got a couple people talking to me about commissions, so that's been good. So yeah, it's been not a bad time right now. All right, just trying to get this worked in. But no, I haven't got to watch Stargirl. I know that a couple of you on here said it's really good. And I need to, because I mean, I'm working on more comic pages for it. So, I mean, I know I've worked on tons of Stargirl over the years, so it's not like I don't know about Stargirl, but it'd be nice to see some of the show and what they're doing there. All right, just trying to lay down like the kind of the first pass here. I want there to be like a little reflection on the guitar. They have these like glitter reflections on them and stuff, so I can't really simulate the glitter, but I can at least you know, try to paint in like a little shine on it. I think that'll end up looking pretty cool. Evan really likes Stargirl. Quinch Press says, I said it before, but I really like Stargirl too. Yeah, I'm so glad to hear that. I mean, you know, a great character. Is Johns writing the TV show or someone else? Do we know? Is it Jeff Johns? On the comics, at least, he's always done such a good job with the character. You know, certain writers just really seem to connect with certain characters, and I always felt like he had a good take on Stargirl. I'm kind of digging this raspberry color. This is kind of what I had in mind here. So it's always nice when it starts to come together in a way that you think it should. Just watching out for a few little details here. This is always the strangest stage of these things because, you know, nothing's finished yet, right? Everything is like all in various stages of progress, and it's really hard for you guys to know, like, how is it going to look when it's done. Evan says the actor they have for Stargirl is perfect. Oh, that's good. I really do look forward to checking it out. I'll have to. Well, maybe now that Sabrina's over, maybe that'll be something that we'll watch. I don't know if Christy would get into that one or not, but we shall see. This paint, I want it to be opaque, and it definitely is for this color. Definitely a little more challenging to work with. It's this opaque, but that's all right. We will make it work. Now let's do a little shadow on here. But yeah, I haven't been watching too much of anything. But I'm probably overdue to catch up on some things. But back to our hot JEM talk, one of the things that I found interesting about the cartoon versus the movie was, you know, in the cartoon, the main girls were, you know, at least JEM herself was portrayed as like an adult, and, you know, who had to take care of her sisters and stuff. Whereas in the movie, they have like an aunt or adopted aunt that's taking care of them, and that's played by Molly Ringwald, which I thought was a really cool casting choice. And Molly Ringwald does a really good job, and the only problem is they don't give her enough to do. Like, she's so dynamic that it would have been a better film if they had just given her more to do, because in her one scene with Juliette Lewis, she just like steals the scene. So I think if they had figured out a way to utilize her character more, it would have helped things. All right, so we're getting that roughed in. Quinchpress says Jeff Johns is a writer on 13 of 14 episodes. There are 2 other writers credited with 13 episodes and several writers who are listed as writing 1 to 3 episodes, so it sounds like it's a team effort. Yeah, it sounds like Jeff must be like the head writer or something on there. Hey guys, I'm out of beverage, so I'm going to take a 60-second break and go get a refill, and then we'll come back and we'll work on this for like at least another 30 or 40 minutes. So I'll see you guys in about 1 minute. And I'm back. So great to see you guys. Evan says Molly Ringwald is in Riverdale as well. You know what? I knew that, but I don't watch Riverdale, but I'm sure she's great in it. Cartoon Rick says, gotta go. Thanks for sharing. Hey, it was good to see you, Cartoon Rick. Thanks for checking it out. Quench Press redeemed Hydrate. Cheers to everybody. Cheers to you, Quench Press. Whitney says, just got home. Katie told me you're painting Jim today. Looking good so far. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, so this is Shana, and then we'll have Jim, and then Kimber, and then Aja. So it'll take a few streams, but it'll be a fun time for sure. But yeah, just I don't know how far we'll get today. Like I said, probably another 30, 40 minutes. So we'll see how much we can get done on this. But we're getting everything sort of roughed in, so that's good. A good first pass on everything. Let's see if we can darken this up a little bit without making a mess. There we go. And then maybe a smaller brush. Oh, Evan says, how's the promotions going? Not bad. I would say not great and not bad. Running contest on social media every day this week. And it's just you do something different every day to enter. So one day is like the Facebook page, and one day is to subscribe on YouTube and that sort of thing. Follow me on Twitch, right? All those sorts of things. And it's going pretty good. I think we're seeing, Evan, obviously you really have been helpful in pushing it, but yeah, we're seeing some good engagement, some new followers, that sort of thing. It's not been overwhelming by any means, but that's okay. So I think I'll probably start announcing winners next week. And then again, we are giving away, Evan so nicely donated the Cobra Kai sketch back to the stream. So let me get it in the camera here where you can actually see it. There you go. And so tomorrow we're going to announce the giveaway for this, and that contest will go on for about a week. And then so pretty much for every day this week that we ran the prizes, we'll give them away the same day next week. So Evan did donate that. Evan, if you want to put in your social links for people to follow you and stuff in the chat, please feel free to do so. But yeah, it's going okay. It's going okay. So, and Quench Press was giving me some help on Instagram and stuff. So I appreciate you guys, everybody kind of helping out and helping me figure out how to, engage with people better and in a, like a real sort of way. And I do appreciate that. I feel like I am a genuine person, but that sometimes maybe on social media or wherever I can come across as less than genuine or, and so it's nice to have you guys there to help push and promote and steer things in the right direction. So thank you guys. Evan says, I really like that drawing of Cobra Kai. Oh, well, I'm glad you had the idea for me to draw it. So that was good. Thank you. And it was quite fun to do. It took me forever to decide how I wanted to do it, but once I got into it, it was very, very fun. So thank you for that. All right, gotta try to get some detail on this face. May have to take the glasses off for that. I'm so blind. I'm so blind. Get in there with that teeny tiny brush. Just start to bring out a few details. It'll take a couple of passes on this face, I'm sure. And then we'll have to go back and darken in the eyes and all that just to get the right level of contrast on everything. That's why you can't get in a hurry on this kind of stuff, because it always takes multiple passes to get it all kind of dialed in. All right, let's take a little bit of yellow, a little bit more yellow. Yeah, it is going good this week, and we always joke about how much I suck at promotions, and I'm just trying to learn the lessons of how to be better. And I know it takes time and practice because, I was kind of spoiled. I mean, most of my career, I had other people doing all the promotion. I was doing comics for Marvel or for DC, and they're the ones selling those comics, and it doesn't affect me if they sell one or if they sell 100,000 of them. And now with the pandemic, and a lot of that work is either gone away or shifted, and I have you guys to thank for any sort of like current success and keeping me going. So I really do appreciate it. All right, let's get a little bit more yellow here. So Evan is sharing his Instagram. Oh, but yeah, that's not the right link. Yeah, I can tell by looking at it when he's like, that's not really it. I mean, it's a link to Instagram, so that part is true. Maybe just not to Evan's Instagram. See, now I'm glad I'm not the only one that has problems with social media. It's not just me. It's everybody. All right, just a touch of that. All right. Need more yellow. Yellow. There we go. Finally. All right. Oh, there you go. Quinch Press, I think, put in the correct link for Evan there. So thank you, Quinch. Way to be a moderator. I love it. Love it. It's on top of things. Always. All right. See if this is too light or too dark. Too light. Got it. Oh, and there's Evan's put in his Facebook link. There you go. Got all the social media rolling in now. That's what we'd like to see. So I'm just going to take some time and just do a little bit of blending here. And just to start to bring out some of her details. And like I said, it'll take a few passes, but we'll get it. We'll get it all dialed in. Just gotta build it up, kind of one kind of like wash at a time. Not as fast as the digital coloring, that's for sure. But I think that makes it special. I don't know how many of you are interested. I had talked about some automotive art in the past, and I've had a few people contact me about some commissions of their, a race car or something, and I don't know if I'll do that on this channel or not, but it has been nice to see some people interested. So I don't know when I'll get to that because I've got several things ahead of it, but it is definitely on my long-term radar for something that I plan to do eventually. Oh, and Evans put his Twitter up there as well. Way to go. Probably have to come back on her cheeks here and work a little magenta kind of value in there, but we'll get to that too. probably have to just come back and do some blending, get everything smoothed out. Evan's like, did that work, everybody? Well, I hope so. I certainly hope so. But he says the Instagram one did for sure. Followed you. Don't have the other ones, but they look right. Yeah, I thought they looked right as well. It's like it looks like the correct kind of links. Unlike that first one. Good eye, Whitney. You spotted that right off. But yeah, Evan, like I said, he was very kind to donate that sketch. So give him a follow, check his stuff out. He's working on his comic book coloring, and I'm sure he appreciates everybody's feedback. And he says he has a great Kickstarter he's putting together, so that's good to know too. We'll look forward to when you launch that. And then I think everybody here already follows me on social media, but if not, please take a moment and do so too. All right, that's a good starting point. Let's do the same thing on her hands. And so once this gets to like 3 or 4 levels of detail, that's when I'll probably need to go and, take some color pencil to it and just like tighten up and refine certain things. Just to get it all kind of evened out. Because there's artists, I'm sure, who can do the whole thing with the brush, but myself, there's just only so much I can do with the brush, and then maybe I want to take a pencil or something in there and start to tighten things up a little. Evan says, Twitter is so weird to me out of all the social media. I know some people who love Twitter and they love to be on Twitter all the time. And it seems like for me, at least, comic books Twitter is where I see the most activity. So if you're going to do a comic Kickstarter, that might be, worth spending extra time on Twitter. But as far as my own participation in social media, it's probably the one I do less. Whitney says, I joined Twitter for soccer stuff, but it became a cesspool and I had to abandon it. Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of vitriol on Twitter. But I'll admit that I get a lot of positive comments on the comics side of things from Twitter, and not as much activity on like the artwork side of things. So different audiences maybe. Not exactly sure. So just some fiddly little details here, but it all adds up. It's all worth doing. Let's get some of this kind of mid value here. Just try to bring a little bit more detail into the back side of this hand. Show some of the shape of these like knuckles and stuff too. Yeah, knucklehead. All right, getting there. There you go. It's all right. Yeah, it's smart that they try to stop you from using that word, though. Yeah, I think Whitney's right. I mean, saying that, Instagram, you seem to be a little bit more in control of who you're interacting with. I would say that seems like a true statement overall. Yeah, I would say that feels true. All right, so that's got to dry. While that dries, let's see what we can do here. We're going to need just um, Evan says, I thought Photoshop 2021 would help speed me up, but it makes me slower and I have more mistakes. Oh, that's interesting to hear. What in particular do you think is it just slower on your computer, or is there something about the the tools and stuff that make it seem slower? I'm curious. It's not my favorite version by far, so it's definitely got its share of problems. Evan says the lasso is a biggie. I'm faster than my lasso can move. Yeah, that's the problem that I have too, and I think I've discovered a lot of it is the keyboard, um, like a delay when I'm using the keyboard commands. But yeah, I agree with that too. The lasso tool has been especially less than useful, I guess is a way to put it. Now let's get some white. Yeah, I saw they dropped an update for Photoshop this week, and I was going to install it, and then I saw a lot of people complaining that it was maybe causing more problems than it solved. And I was trying to see, I thought they maybe were going to finally fix the line tool, but I didn't want to install it yet, so I don't know that. Evan must have, I thought he was going to respond to that, but I guess not. Evan says, I think it is just overall slower and I outmove it. Everything I do, I want to go back. Yeah, I agree. Sadly, on the Mac, I think once you upgrade to the Big Sur OS, I don't think you have a choice. I think you can only run 2021. But I do agree. I thought 20 was faster, smoother, better overall. I definitely had less problems with it than I do 2021. And I have a feeling a lot of people feel the same way. I think I need to get in there and do some work on her eyes. Evan says, yeah, I saw the update and I thought it can't get worse, but I think I'll definitely hold off. Yeah, I agree. I think enough people have been saying bad things that I'm going to wait. Evan says, I'm normally one of those people that will use a version until they make me change. Well, I like it better. Like on my previous operating system, I could just have both versions going, and so I could, compare and contrast the two, and that was good for me. But just being stuck with just one version is definitely no fun. Hopefully my head is in the stream. All right, I'll try to keep my head out of the stream, guys. Now that's what I'm just doing. Little details. Just trying to clean some stuff up here. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay, so let's let that dry before we add anything else to that and start to bring out some highlights. So let's do the lighter color of the guitar, and then maybe we'll do her fingernails, and we'll see what time it is. We'll see how it's going. But you can see what how much time is involved, to do something like this. Because you just got to keep, putting some value down, let it dry, come back. So Evan says, "I'm not running Big Sur. Big Sur is really cool and it's worth upgrading. But if you're not running Big Sur, then at least you can still keep Photoshop 2020, which is worth keeping for now." Quinch Press says, "I'm not kidding. That boy's head is like Sputnik, spherical but quite pointy at parts. Would you look at the size of that kid's head? It's a veritable planetoid. It's got its own weather system. Looks like an orange on a toothpick." I think someone's gone and swallowed me pillow. Uh, let's see, what was that? Was that So I Married an Axe Murderer? Is that what film that was? I was just thinking about that film a couple of weeks ago and how much I missed that. Yeah, it was. Quinch says it was. Yeah, So I Married an Axe Murderer with Mike Myers. God, that's a great movie. You look at the size of that kid's head. Head, out of the way. That's another one I saw. I think opening night in a theater, and there was like 5 people there. Poor Mike Myers, like all of his early stuff, even the first Austin Powers, like nobody went to see that. God, just now it's all flooding back to me, all the So I Married Axe Murderer stuff. The beat poetry in the coffee shop. Just so many great moments in that film. What was the poem that he did about the girl? Was it Janet or was it somebody else? I don't remember now. If Quinch, if you can find the lyrics to that beat poem, I'll do it. Maybe Quinch is looking. I'm not sure. Yeah, Mike Myers, funny guy. It's kind of a shame he doesn't do more stuff anymore. You think he could get like a big, sweet Adam Sandler sized gig at Netflix or something, you know? Quinchper says, with the exception of the Spin Doctor song, it's got a really good soundtrack. Yeah, I love the soundtrack, including one of my favorite bands, Ned's Atomic Dustbin, covering the Bay City Rollers' Saturday Night. Yeah, it is a great soundtrack. Fantastic soundtrack. Yeah, the movie's great, soundtrack's great. No complaints for me. Saturday Night. I guess he must still be looking for the poetry. Well, we're getting there. We're making some progress here. It's happening. Let's go a darker shade. No, let's see. I just want to do like a little shadow here. Just a little shadow under her arm to like help her arm pop off the guitar a little bit. I think that'll look cool. Whitney says, watercolors seem like the most dangerous of paints. They seem so watery. Like once the brush touches the paper, the paint could go anywhere. Yeah, I mean, that's like, man, I'm not good at that really loose watercolor stuff. Like when you do like flowers and stuff, but there's some artists who are like really good at just like letting the colors bleed and mix and then coming in and dialing in the details and getting it to look like what they want. And that's a whole like skill set in itself, you know, like the really super wet on wet paints. I don't know that you could really do it for like this kind of thing, but it's definitely cool to see. But I like it. I like the feeling of real paint. There's just something about it. And, you know, like Bob Ross used to say, like, happy accidents. And that's kind of true. Like, sometimes with this stuff, if something weird happens, I might try to go in and clean it up, and I might just live with it or see if it can morph into some other aspect or something, you know. So it's kind of weird like that. Oh, okay. Quench Press has got the. Let me throw this line down on the guitar, and then I'll do that. Quench, give me just a second. This is like the weirdest angle right here. Let's see if I can rotate this whole thing. What's her name? Harriet. All right, glasses have to come off for this. My eyes are getting fried. Boom. Much harder than it looks, people. Okay. Now Quench Press. Now I can do that. So here's the bit from How I Married an Axe Murderer. This was the beat poetry that he did in the coffee shop. So he's like, woman, whoa man, whoa man. She was a thief. You got to believe. She stole my heart and my cat. Betty, Judy, Josie, and those hot pussy cats. They make me horny. Saturday morning. Girls of cartoons will leave me in ruins. I want to be Betty's Barney. Hey Jane, get me off this crazy thing called love. Yeah. So if you haven't seen So I Married an Axe Murderer, that was like, Mike Myers was a beat poet, and that was like his big pop culture beat poet that he did. Quench Press says, I got a new liqueur I'm playing with. It's called Tintura Roots, and it's a sweet cinnamon and clove liqueur. Oh, that sounds really interesting. That sounds really good. I dig the sound of that, man. I'm into that. All right, what do we got? Just a few minutes, so I think we're just about done for today. I maybe got a few tiny details I can put on her top here, but that's about it. When he says, I remember when you did my mouse guard piece, some of the commenters were amazed by how loose your paint was. I don't know. I don't even think about it, so it's hard for me to know. I just throw it down, man, and like if it works, it works, and If it doesn't, I try not to panic because I know I can always just come back and rework it or do something, and hopefully it'll be okay. But I try not to get caught up in like perfection. I think like because I work in comics, and comics is such a like fast paced, um, super quick turnaround, all kinds of deadlines and stuff. Like I've from that industry, I've been kind of taught that like chasing perfection is a bad thing in a way because it can hurt deadlines and make things late and all that kind of stuff. So I tend to be more like let's just have fun with this and let's just do it. And along the way there will be good ones and there will be bad ones, and as long as you learn something from it and apply that to the next one, then it's all good. But yeah, that's cool to hear. I mean, I never even thought about like whether my paints were like loose or tight or anything like that. So I'll try to like not to overanalyze it. But while we're here, I've got this red out. I just put a few more little hints of like pink into her hair in a few places. So it's off to a good start. There's plenty more to do. Oh, Quinch Press is asking for a Tiki stream tonight. I don't have anything ready to draw, or I would. So let me think about that, Quinch. I have some. I know exactly what I want to do for Tiki Tuesday, so I may just not want to rush it, but we'll see. What was I gonna do? Oh yeah, gel pen. I'll tell you what though, if you find someone to raid, I promise to stay on for at least an extra 10 minutes. And normally I panic about this paint and I need to like get up immediately and deal with the paint, but I will be a willing participant in the raid and hang out with you guys. So if that sounds fun, that's something we can do together for sure. All right, I'll probably come back with the Mai Tai sketch. Oh, because you want me to do it tonight or just in general? The Mai Tai fighter. That's one we've been talking about for a while, so it would be fun to do sometime for sure. Whitney's like, a successful raid? I know. I mean, like I could blame the raids and be like, that's why I don't hang out, but yeah, if Quinch can find someone to raid, I promise that I will hang out and participate in the raid. I really didn't think I was bailing on you guys. I was just like this. The minute this were over, I just go and clean my paints up so they don't like dry up and stuff. But I get it. I should be part of the party too. Kind of at the noodling on this, but that's part of the fun sometimes. So, but I need to step back and let everything dry and come back at it with fresh eyes, and we can start to put some details down. And I'm excited about getting to all the characters, because I was thinking I've done sketches of JEM at like Comic Cons and stuff, but I don't think I've ever done the other girls, the holograms. So that's gonna be kind of fun. She stole my heart and my cat. Quinch says tonight. Oh, and now Quinch is quoting "We Are Scientists" lyrics. All right, I think we're at a stopping point. So there's our first starting point on this one. I don't know if you can tell, but there's gonna be like a cassette tape and some background elements and stuff here too. So got a lot to do on that. Which says limited time offer. I can't get the Mai Tai fighter thing ready in like under an hour. So That's not going to happen. But I will do the raid, so find someone to raid, and we'll do it here in like 2 minutes. So yeah, we'll get her finished, and then Jim is going to go in right here and just start to rough her in, and then on the 2 others. So should be a fun time. I really appreciate you guys hanging out. This will be a new fun one to explore, see how far we can take it, see where it ends up after a few streams. Especially weird, like if I start and stop on artwork on my own, it's usually because I'm waiting for paint to dry. But this thing where we're like, coming and going, that'll be funny. Quinchper says Tiki Batgirl. Oh yeah, that'd be fun too. Catherine says it looks so good. Oh, thank you, Catherine. Thank you. It's hard for me to, I mean, I appreciate the kind words. It's hard for me to see it yet because I know it's not far enough along, but I'm glad to hear that. Thank you. Yeah, Tiki Batgirl will be a cool one too. You've got some good ideas there, Quinch. So maybe we need to queue up the next couple of Tiki Tuesdays. I have like a Mai Tai class design that I want to do Tuesday, but then we could do, we could start working in the Mai Tai Fighter and the Tiki Batgirl after that. Well, while Quinch Press finds someone for us to raid, I'm going to run the credits. So we'll be right back, and we'll see how it goes. Let's see if these credits work. They've been hit or miss the last couple streams. So here we go. Hey, how about those credits? That was pretty awesome. Gotta love that. It was a truly outrageous couple of hours hanging out with you guys. Really appreciate it. Christopher says Tiki Batgirl is a tiny only offer. Dude, I would love to do it, but there's just no way I can get that together that fast. But yes, thank you. Thank you for the offer. I do appreciate it. And we should definitely do a Tiki Batgirl someday because I think it's a fantastic idea. In the meantime, let's have some fun. And let's raid. Let's do our raid. So we're going to raid Kirk Shannon. So let's get all of our emotes and likes and cheers and everything ready. And I'm going to go with you guys, but still stay on target. And I will see you next time. Let's